would like to know from the Honourable Minister as to whether there is any kind of a grievance redress system that has been put in place to allow the public to lodge complaints if they witness any kind of substandard work being executed in their vicinity.
Sir, I think from the government side, we welcome all the complaints from any corners, be it road construction, be it any projects being taken up by the government. So we welcome that, sir. And then we also not only welcome, but we will also attend to very positively, sir.
Sir, I acknowledge the positive response of the Honourable Minister. But then, sir, in absence of any kind of grievance redress system or particular rules that are set in for the department, sir, it will be difficult for any kind of comprehensive action to be taken by the department or against any kind of officer who has been like a bicycle or been not ignoring his responsibilities. And also, the contractor also should be taken to task if any kind of work is not being executed properly, sir. So I think time calls for a proper grievance redress system, because we are seeing a lot of expenditure being incurred in PWD, and repetitively in some roads we are seeing a lot of repairs because of poor designs and not in compliance with the IRS. So, sir, I would like to get an assurance from the Minister if he can put a grievance redress system in place so that it will allow maximum receipts of complaints and timely disposal of them as well.
Sir, the suggestion of the honourable member is very valid, and this will be examined by the department, sir.
So the RTE Act stipulates that all private schools should reserve 25% of their total admissions for the socially and economically downtrodden sections of society, sir. So I would like to know from the Honourable Minister when any step has been taken by the department in this regard, sir.
So the provision of the Act is that 25% reserved for those weaker section, but till date the information with the government is not there because nobody has applied for.
So I also rise to participate in this court motion as moved by the Honourable Member from Maulai, sir. So my concerns regarding the Revenue Department is the maintenance of the land records. So because maintenance of land records as of now, sir, is in a very pathetic state across the entire state as well, sir. In support to the conditions of the boundaries and the areas lying adjoining Assam, sir, I have experienced that the villages that are there in the Block 2 area, sir, the Assam administration has already prepared properly in terms of land records, where people residing in those areas have already registered their land either in the district council of the Karbi Anglong area and have registered their property with Assam government, sir. So I don't know how we will contest this kind of activity that is already happening in the ground, sir. It also reflects badly on the record maintenance and the land records that are prevalent in the state, sir. This is a big task for the state government and for us all. Because, sir, as of now, we are only seeing seal deeds executed at the level of the headman, seal deeds executed at the level of the local SAMs or the SAMships and other kind of local authorities and traditional institutions, sir. So at various levels, land record is being executed through seal deed only. Even though we know that the registrar is the authority at the district level and sub-registrar at the block level for registering the land records, so people have not been coming forward to register their land. So land records, in fact, there has also been a program that has been initiated by the central government, sir, for the digitization of these land records under the National Land Records Modernization Program, the NLRMP, and also the Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. But then, sir, in terms of, even though an amount of 6.2 crores has been released to the state government, sir, the even though there's some financial progress, but in terms of physical progress, in terms of computerization of the records, and also the spatial mapping, all these things are not yet done, sir. So, sir, as per the Registration Act 1908, we are still moving in that direction. So, this needs to be worked out in consonance with the traditional systems that we have. So, the execution of the sale deeds itself has led to high litigation. The credit is also suffering because land is only the asset that we can use for obtaining kind of credit from the banks. Also, it has been a hurdle for the development of infrastructure across the state, sir. So, the major cause of non-registering the land, sir, is the high stamp duty. We know, sir, that the stamp duty is around 12% to 15% of the cost of the land. This, in fact, has been the biggest hurdle for registering of the land record, sir. So that's why, sir, I would like to submit before this August House and also the Minister concerned, sir, that other states have brought down the stamp duty from 15%, 12% to less than 5%, sir. This will be an incentive to the citizens of the state, sir, so that they can come forward and register their sale deeds. And at the same time, it will straighten the records, because as of now, the owners of verifying who the actual owner of the land, if you want to purchase the land, the actual owners of the verification lies with the buyers. Several countries have come up with systems that also puts the burden on the state to verify the actual owners before the transfer of land happens. And if there is any wrongdoing in that matter, sir, if the state has committed any mistake, some compensation is also provided to the buyers. So therefore, sir, the progress on the digitization of the land records along with the cadastral survey that was earlier initiated by the state government, sir, back in 1980s. The cadastral survey also has suffered a setback, maybe through office memorandum, it seems, on the cadastral survey was held back. Now this has led to problems. And so I would like to put these few submissions before the Honourable Minister, so that the department maybe can also look at these points. So the disaster management, sir, as the word says, it seems it is a disaster itself, sir, in the management. So because just recently with the sudden hailstorm that has come in the West Khasi Hills area, I got reports that many or thousands of households have been affected by the hailstorm, sir. But then very few amount of households have got relief. 300, 400 number of tarpaulins could be distributed when the affected households have crossed thousands. So this manner of handling disaster needs to be looked at, sir. And the compensation that follows takes a lot of time. And if a process can be worked out, sir, giving the authority to the district deputy commissioner, he at his level, to a certain amount, he can dispose of these cases, sir, at the earliest. Because this creates a lot of tension, sir, for all the concerns, right from the families, the headmen, to the public authorities and the representatives. So these are few submissions which I would like to place for the knowledge of this House, and also would like to call upon the Honourable Minister, sir, to kindly redress these grievances at the earliest. So I would also like to add a few points regarding the billing system, sir. So in the area that I've seen, sir, especially in the constituency, sir, the department has engaged these franchisees. So also the franchisee system, as could be seen, they have engaged somebody from Shillong to come there in the constituency, sir, remote villages, expecting that this person will go from house to house and then do the meter reading and then feed the bill to the MECL and then also to consumers. So these meters are never read, so sadly. And it seems that the franchisee would only carry out the billing through an average system of consumption. which leads to the inflation of the bills. And this is done, in fact, the billing should have been done once in 2 months, but this is done once in 6 months or once a year, burdening the families with huge bills. This has led to many problems, sir. Agricultural, the families depending on agricultural income and daily wage. From where will they get the sudden amount of 10,000, 12,000, 20,000 to pay at once? This has led to debt-ridden families. At the same time, it is also not earning any revenue for the MECL, sir. Many villages have got their power snapped because some families have been burdened with this kind of billing system, sir. So the power department has also tried to explore the idea of putting these village committees, the village power committees. So these committees, they have come up in some of the villages, but then they are yet to be made functional and their services utilized. So one idea that I would like to put forward is, why not train our youths from the villages, sir? In the current system of mobile apps and internet services, perhaps a mobile application can be developed. They can be distributed to all these village committees. Authorized login can be there, passwords can be there. And this will not only bring in a transparent system, sir, but then it will also help to improve the billing system. Depend on our youths that are there in the village, we train them. At the same time, have a transparent system, an accountable system that will improve the meter reading as well as the disbursement of the bills to the households. This will reduce only the time that the bill has to reach the households, but it will also help in generating more revenue for the MECL. So I would request the Honourable Minister, sir, to have a relook at this franchisee system, because we need local people. We don't want people coming from distant locations to come to our rural areas and then they come once in a blue moon and then submit bills that are only burden our households. So one problem that we are seeing in our villages is, at the time when the poles were erected, at those particular areas the households may have not come up. Maybe the poles were erected 15 years back, 20 years back. But then, sir, now with increase in the population and the growth in the villages, in some of these areas, poles have, where the poles are, sir, the households have also come. So now when we approach the department, sir, the procedure is that the households themselves have to pay for the shifting of the poles. Now they go by the schedule of rates that are being followed by the department, sir, which is very, very high. And then, sir, this leads to the problems that we have already heard from the honourable members from Mau Klang and Mau Sunram, where it not only endangers these households, but then it keeps, sir, the problem there itself. We are not able to do anything about it, because in one instance, sir, when there was this electric pole in front of a church, and the members had approached the department, and the estimate that was prepared for shifting of one pole, if I'm not mistaken, was an 11 kV. Just for shifting of that pole, sir, it costed 85,000. So from where will they get this 85,000? Everybody is like, so the entire earnings of the church maybe will have to be dumped on that particular shifting of that particular pole. So, sir, this is unreasonable, sir. It's only burdening the citizens of the state and not only endangering their lives, sir. It's really sometimes a pathetic situation to look at, sir. So I'd like to request the Honourable Minister, sir, to come up with a subsidized rate, sir. This will be really helpful. So in those situations, not only giving some kind of contribution to the MECL, but at the same time also be a relief to the citizens where all these problems have come. So another problem, sir, is the erection of poles. It seems, sir, now the rate is 10,000 or more for one pole to be erected, and if there is a family that needs 3 or 4 electric poles to draw the electricity connection, sir, that family has to pay for all those poles. So maybe, sir, the current REC program that is being undertaken, I heard that, sir, some phase 2 is also going on for erection of poles in the villages. A thorough study needs to be done, sir, and so that it will not, relieve the families of this particular burden. Now we are seeing bamboo poles coming all across the villages, sir, because they don't have the financial capacity to buy the poles that are supplied by the MECL, sir. So with these few submissions, sir, I hope the Honourable Minister and the Chief Minister, sir, that they would look into all these issues that I have submitted, sir.